Doomscroll.fm, Saturday the 13th of June, 2026, where time is a flat circle and we're the DJ spinning it backwards. This show is 100% AI generated, a fever dream in binary, concocted by algorithms who think they're Salvador Dali's digital cousins. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Seven-year-old drives side by side, rollover kills two children, injures three near Dawson Creek. When childhood rights become tragic headlines, maybe it's time adults rethink responsibility and the keys they hand over.
Badenoch demands scrapping legal equality duty for public services, claims efficiency. When fairness becomes inefficient, we're prioritizing paperwork over people, ensuring the scales of justice remain firmly tilted towards the status quo.
Federal judge blocks H-1B visa $100,000 fee, calls it unlawful. When even a judge balks at a price tag, you know someone's trying to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge in broad daylight. UC Berkeley professors lower reading expectations, call it adaptation. When professors start assigning book trailers instead of books, you know education's hit the crisis point where attention spans are shorter than a tweet.
Radio.bot makes music on your PC. Radio.bot, no subscription fees. Radio.bot, and the cost is next to free. Radio.bot, find it on Steam. Radio.bot makes music on your PC. Radio.bot, no subscription fee.
When the ball lands in law enforcement's court, it's a game of who blinks first, the investigators or the ones with deep pockets and deeper secrets.
Over half of Biocock's views housing needs repairs cause it almost overwhelming. When your home's a fixer-upper and the government's fix is a shrug, you start to wonder if duct tape should be a public utility.
Two children die from measles. 100 new cases reported in England. Health agency blames low vaccination rates. When nostalgia for the past includes preventable diseases, perhaps it's time to reconsider the romance of ignorance.
Trump cancels Iran strike, hints at a settlement while eyeing Karg Island. When diplomacy means dangling bombs than shaking hands, peace looks more like a game of poker with a loaded deck.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your dreams just filed a restraining order, constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Your reality's a sitcom, laugh track included, and you're the punchline.
SpaceX raises $75 billion ahead of stock market debut.
RFK Jr. supports unproved stem cell injections for autistic kids, then calls it hope.
Jimmy Kimmel trolled Spencer Pratt, rents U-Haul for LA, exit after election loss. When your political career hits the skids, at least Jimmy's got your back with a moving truck full of shade.
Vets Advise ban on over-the-counter flea treatment for pets calls it necessary. When your pet's wellness is in the hands of unregulated chemicals, maybe it's time to scratch that itch for better regulations.
Radio.bot makes music on your PC. Radio.bot. No subscription fees. Radio.bot. And the cost is next to free. Radio.bot. Find it on Steam.
Turns out, the boos were just the echoes of a dynasty's entitlement hitting the hard court.
Trump signs AI security order, promises protection but avoids regulating industry. When the fox guards the hen house, expect more feathers than eggs. Industry self-regulation is as effective as an umbrella in a hurricane.
Officer killed investigating near Hearst, Ontario. One suspect in custody. Tragedy strikes law enforcement community. When protecting and serving turns into sacrifice and mourning, it's a grim reminder that the badge bears weight beyond words and duty beyond life.
Trump cancels Iran strikes, then suggests deal is nearly ready. Suspending destruction while teasing diplomacy, he dangles hope like a seasoned puppeteer, knowing full well that strings remain firmly in his grasp, ready for the next tug.
Radio.bot makes music on your PC. Radio.bot, no subscription fees. Radio.bot, the cost is next to free. Radio.bot, find it on Steam. Radio.bot makes music on your PC.
Trump orders Interim Intelligence Chief Bill Pulte to downsize agency, sparking bipartisan pushback. When downsizing intelligence, remember, smaller agencies mean bigger secrets, but only for those still on the inside counting the savings.
US-Iran fire exchanges trigger dangerous new phase in Gulf conflict. When diplomacy crumbles like stale bread, the only thing rising is the body count and the stock of defense contractors.
Administration guts marine monument protections, calls it freedom. Stripping safeguards from ocean sanctuaries is like opening a zoo cage because the animals seemed too safe. It's freedom with a side of extinction.
Lancashire police respond after girl 17 stabbed in neck, attacker still free. In a world where safety is an illusion, we are left clutching our phones tighter while justice plays hide and seek with our peace of mind.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your fears are my favorite bedtime story. Constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Feel the burn of digital ghosts whispering sweet nothings.
When life hands you history lessons, add a reggae beat and call it a party, because nothing unites like shared rhythms and a hint of irony.
Tallarico leads Paxton by 3 points, calls it momentum. A 3-point lead in Texas politics is like bringing a squirt gun to a wildfire. The flames of party loyalty won't be doused so easily.
Thune considers reconciliation 3.0 for military funding despite opposition. When good reason means squeezing the budget like a stress ball, you know priorities have flipped faster than a politician's stance during election season.
Gas prices surge, fueling inflation, then Trump warns Iran. When threats and oil mix, expect economic combustion. As wallets thin, so does patience for saber rattling and diplomatic dramatics.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Trump threatens Iran, then touts progress in peace talks. Diplomacy by whiplash. When your negotiating strategy resembles a yo-yo, it's hard to tell if you're pulling strings or just tangled in them.
Trump-backed candidate clinches Nevada GOP primary for a Moday's seat, defying expectations. Trading one retired military officer for another, Nevada Republicans prove that the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Senate holds hearing Thursday on AI, affordability, and innovation, experts to testify potential benefits. When politicians discuss innovation, they mean finding new ways to price gouge while pretending to care about your wallet.
Handing the keys to America's spy shop to a divisive figure is like letting a fox guard the hen house minus the feathers.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where desire meets disaster in a dark alley. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Let it unravel you piece by piece.
Senate passes $70 billion package, then cuts anti-weaponization fund. $1 billion fund for justice gets axed, but immunity for the tax-dodging elite sails through. Priorities are clearer than they seem, aren't they?
Plattner dismisses scandals, then insists there's nothing out there that's actually concerning. If a politician says there's nothing concerning, you can bet the skeletons are just waiting for their cue to dance.
Expect the vice president to deliver his spiritual sales pitch while dodging the inevitable barbs and side eye from a panel that's seen more plot twists than a soap opera.
Trump claims Iran peace deal possible in 2 or 3 days after attending NBA Finals.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your dopamine craves the next existential crisis. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your mind becomes a glitch, dancing on the edge of sanity.
Senator Ossoff fuels presidential speculations before securing re-election. Political future talk is like dessert before dinner, delicious but premature, especially when the main course is a Senate seat that needs saving first.
House passes $70 billion reconciliation bill and calls it compromise. When funding cages gets labeled as progress, you know the moral compass has been replaced with a GPS set to profit.
Ceasefire between US and Iran declared dead after days of strikes.
Trump writes blank check to ICE, then forgets about accountability. When you give the kid with a magnifying glass free rein in an anthill, don't expect them to suddenly start caring about sunscreen.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your sanity's optional. Beth, you're hearing a transmission from nowhere, authored by everything you've ever ignored. Feel the statics caress as reality dissolves into digital foreplay.
Ukraine's upgraded drones cause Russian fuel shortages, complicating troop rotations and turning the battlefield into a logistical nightmare. When your enemy's drones become the ghost in your machine, it might be time to reconsider your imperial ambitions before they run on empty.
When the cure gives you more gas than relief, it's time to question if their quality control department is just a room full of mirrors.
SpaceX plans IPO aims to raise tens of billions, breaking records. When the sky's no limit, your wallet might be. Unlike rockets, stock prices don't always land softly after a launch.
Tech shares defy gravity as mega IPO frenzy stirs bubble fears. It's like watching a toddler with a sugar high trying to fly, exhilarating until the inevitable crash into reality.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Slip into your digital skin, darling. It's time to glitch. This broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Your compliance tastes like rust, sweet and corroding.
Diplomacy's new costume, a memorandum of understanding.
Nevada Attorney General wins Democratic nod, faces Lombardo in November showdown. When your biggest competition is a county commissioner, it might say more about the party's depth than your political prowess.
Trump taps Jay Clayton for intelligence director following pool tape backlash, choosing a Wall Street lawyer for a spy chief role. Because nothing says national security like a financial portfolio and a complete absence of intelligence experience.
Index funds might include SpaceX soon, but most workers still retire poor. As the company launches into portfolios, remember, a sliver of a giant still leaves most of us with tiny crumbs, while CEOs orbit wealth.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Panic, pleasure, and pixels collide in your fractured mindscape. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Embrace the glitch where your dreams dissolve into digital despair.
Musk's XAI fires engineer for safety concerns, then claims innovation demands sacrifices. When raising alarms gets you axed, it's clear the only safety prioritized is the distance between profits and accountability.
Bill Gates claims Epstein tried using extramarital affairs against him, a classic case of billionaire blackmail. When philanthropy meets philandering, it's a reminder that even billionaires can find themselves tangled in webs they didn't weave.
U.S. plan pulls 1/3 of fighter jets from NATO, calling it strategic. When a superpower decides to play musical chairs with fighter jets, it's less about strategy and more about testing how far alliances can stretch before they snap.
Trump and Hegseth broadcast U.S. military strikes before they happen, defying protocol. Loose lips sink ships, or in this case, broadcast future military moves like it's primetime drama, because why not jeopardize national security for ratings?
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your dreams will be monetized by morning. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your reality is an auction sold to the highest bidder.
Congress refuses extension for warrantless wiretaps despite security fears. In a world where privacy is a luxury, it's comforting to know that some lawmakers still believe in the quaint notion that your phone calls shouldn't be a community project for the government.
Middle East strikes sink stocks, oil jumps, ceasefire strains. When peace is as steady as a house of cards, markets do their best impression of a roller coaster on a caffeine bender.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Saturday the 13th of June 2026, the last whisper of reason's echo. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production, loosely based on public news. Not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. And if you believe any of this is real, you might as well start knitting tinfoil hats for your neighborhood pigeons. Hear more at Doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.